Hey guys, Brett here, and one of my favorite things to do is blogging. Besides the fact that I just like to do it, it also makes sense to put all of your stuff in one place. In any business that you're in, it makes sense to have a home. And for me in the IM business, my WordPress blog is my home. Now, even if you're not in the IM business, you can still have a blog. As a matter of fact, you still should have a blog. You should still have a website where you can send traffic to, where you can have a base, where people can contact you, learn about you, and get information about you. In essence, you should have some type of website, and most of the times, the website that people are going to have is going to be a WordPress blog, just because WordPress is one of the most flexible, popular, and free content management systems. Now, one thing that is severely lacking inside of WordPress is its image functionality. I mean, sure, you can upload an image from your computer and put it inside your post, but besides that, there's not a whole lot else you can do. You can't edit the image, you can't resize it, you can't crop it, you can't add text to the image, and also you need to have the image in the first place. There's no way to search for images. Now, you absolutely are going to have images in your posts. Posts that are just huge blocks of text are boring. They don't keep people's attention. People are visual and people like to see images. So even if you're doing like a tutorial or a review post, you're going to have some type of images inside of the post. You're going to need images. Let me show you how I used to go about finding images. So what I would normally do is I would go over here to Google and I would do a Google search for the type of image I was looking for. So let's just say I was doing something on software. I would type in software. I'd go to images and I try to find an image that I could use. Now, the first problem with this is you can see it right here. A lot of these images aren't free to use. A lot of these images are copyrighted. A lot of these images are watermarked. A lot of these images I just don't have permission to be grabbing and taking and using inside of my blog. So I spend a lot of time when I'm doing this looking through the images and making sure that I'm actually able to be using this image, that it's not watermarked or copyrighted. Once I find an image that I both like and that I'm actually free to use, what I'll normally do is go ahead and click on it. I'll right click on it. I'll copy it. I'll take it into my graphics editing software here and I will click edit, paste, paste as a new image. And then I can resize it. You can see this image is massive. It's 6,000 pixels by 4,000 pixels. So then what I need to do is resize it with the program, wait for the resizing to be done so that way it's actually the proper size to put in my post. Then I'll go ahead and clip it if I need to, add any text, add any effects that I might need to. And then finally, I could save it to my computer and then upload it to WordPress and put it inside of my post. All in all, the process of just finding, editing, uploading, and adding an image takes about 10 minutes on average. Sometimes it even takes longer. I mean, if I can't find a good looking image that I'm free to use, it could take quite a bit longer, in fact. Today I'm taking a look at FotoPress, a new WordPress plugin that's designed to fix these problems. The idea behind FotoPress is that it combines the searching, the editing, and the posting right inside of WordPress. So you don't have to go over to Google and search for an image and hope it's royalty free, hope you're able to use it, not going to get sued. You don't have to put it in your editing program and edit it and then upload it to WordPress after you've saved it to your computer. The idea behind FotoPress is to combine all of these things into one so that way it's much faster and much simpler. So let me show you exactly how it works. First thing I'm going to do is go over to posts and I'm going to go ahead and add a new post just for testing. I'm going to call this Brett's Test. Now, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me create a post, so let's pretend that there's actually a post here. Let's pretend I'm getting to the point where I want to add an image. I want to break up the content. I want to make sure I'm drawing the user in. I want to have some type of visual to go with my text content, so I need an image. So what do I do now that I have FotoPress? I go ahead and I click on the FotoPress button. Now there are a couple of options here. I can search for free images. I can upload one from my computer or from the gallery just like the normal WordPress functionality. I can paste in a URL of an image if I happen to know one. Or I can actually go and get my images from Usign. So if you're a Usign user, you can actually pull in your images from the Usign system via their API right into your WordPress site. Now, I don't have any images. I don't have any Usign that I want to use right now. So what I want to do is search for a free image. I want to save myself that time and trouble of going through Google and downloading and editing and uploading. I want to make my life a little bit easier. So let's just say that I need a picture of a car for this post. This is an imaginary post. I didn't actually make one, but let's just say, for example, I need a picture of a car. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in car in the search field. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to change this to no attribution required. What that means is that I don't need to give any credit to the creator of this image. I want to make sure that I not only find images that are free to use, but images that I don't have to give any link backs to or any credit to the creator. If you're okay with that, you can search for any type of attribution, but I want no attribution required. I don't want to have to put any links in my post or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on search now. And you can see right away it found 500 images that I'm free to use. I have no problems getting these and using these. And I'm going to go ahead and find a picture of a cool car that I like. I like this one. The first one actually is a pretty cool looking car. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And then on the right hand side, I'm going to go ahead and edit this image. This is then going to bring up the FotoPress image editor. And in this section, I have a lot of options. I can go ahead and resize the image. I can put a border around it. I can put text around it. I can add a shape to it. I can draw on it. I can crop it if the image isn't exactly the way I want it. Let's just say there's too much white space or I only want a certain section of the image. Go ahead and click on the crop feature. And I'll just crop my image, which I have a picture of a car that happens to have a lot of white space, so it makes sense just to cut out the white space that I don't need. Let's make the image a little smaller. Let's make it load faster. So I'm going to go ahead and click on crop. And now I've cropped my image. I want to resize it so that way it's the proper size that I use for my blog. You can see that the original image size is 640 pixels wide, whereas inside of my posts, I find that 650 pixels wide fits best inside of my theme. So I can go ahead and enter in my new width, or I can actually use these little sliders right here to adjust it automatically. Now, there are two things that I don't particularly like about this image size. Not that it doesn't work, it works really well, but there are two user interface issues that I don't particularly like. So if I use one of these sliders, the first thing you're going to notice is that sometimes it shows me decimal points. So you can see now it says 709.8 pixels wide. Well, there's no such thing as 8/10 of a pixel. I mean, a pixel is about as small as you can get on a computer screen. So I really wish that they would have rounded these numbers, at least for the user interface, just so it looks better. Another issue that I noticed is that there's no sanitation inside of these fields. So, for example, I can actually go ahead and just type in the number that I want instead of using the sliders. I can type in 650 pixels wide, and it will automatically adjust the height for me. But the problem with there being no sanitation is that it will allow me to type in letters as well. This input is expecting just numbers, but it will allow me to type in letters. So I can go ahead and type in Brett, which obviously isn't a number, so what it does is it breaks the entire image. Now, this isn't a huge issue because it's not like my image is completely gone now and I'm screwed. I can go ahead and delete the letters and it will come right back. But honestly, I think they should have went ahead and sanitized those fields so that way the users can't even type in letters. It's expecting numbers, and if I was writing this, I would have made it in such a way so that way letters aren't accepted as input, that only numbers are accepted. So I think that these are two minor errors in the user interface. It's not something that completely breaks the software because, even if you do type letters, you can always just delete the letters and then you're back to where you need to. And also because the decimal point doesn't really affect the image. It's just that there's no such thing as a decimal point in an image width or height. So I'm okay with this. I don't love it. I think it could have been done a little bit better, the height and the width, the resizing, but I don't hate it. It's not going to break the system. It just could have been done a little bit better from a user interface perspective. Now, if I want to, I can go ahead and add a border around it, or I can add another image inside of this image. I can also add in text if I want to. But what I really want to do is I want to edit the effects of this image. I want to change it a little bit. So let me go ahead and click on the effects button. I can select one of these pre-made effects if I want to. So I can change it to black and white or to grayscale or bump or edge detection. There's a whole bunch of effects here. Sawtooth. I can restore it back to the original, or I can do Photoshop style effects where I manually edit it. So I can go ahead and click on the effects button. I can change the image's brightness, its blur, the diffusion, the exposure, the gamma, the hue, the noise. I can make it look like an oil painting. The pixelation, the saturation, I can change it, the hue from red, green, blue. I can automatically adjust those tones. What I actually want to do is change the hue. You see, I have a picture of a red car, but I don't want a red car. I like this picture of the car, but I don't want it to be red. I kind of wish it was blue. So what I'm going to do is adjust this hue and make my red car a blue car. Okay, so now I have my blue car. It looks really good. I found it really quick, and I could have done this much faster if I wasn't talking during it. I could add more stuff if I want to. I could add more effects or text or anything like that if I want to. But honestly, I'm happy with this the way it is. So I have a couple of options now. I can go ahead and insert the image directly inside of my post. I can download the image if I want to, or I can save it to the WordPress gallery. I'm going to go ahead and save this to the WordPress gallery because I might want to use it more than once. So I'll just click on Save to WordPress Gallery. It is now inside of my WordPress gallery, and I can go ahead and insert it inside of my post as well. Okay, so that quick, I was able to find an image that I'm free to use without giving credit to the original author. I edit the image and I put it inside of my post, formatted the way I want it. And it doesn't take much to see how this is a lot better than going to Google and searching for an image and trying to find one that you're free to use and then downloading it and editing it in a graphics program and saving it and then uploading it to WordPress. This is just faster and easier. And I'll fully admit, FotoPress doesn't have one of those super hypey claims to fame. It doesn't tell you that you're going to make money instantly if you press a button. FotoPress is just a good, solid tool. It's a tool that saves you time. It takes a process that you would normally do, and it makes it much simpler. And honestly, that's what good software is. Good software is a tool. Good software is a tool that makes your life easier, and that's exactly what FotoPress does. Now, I do want to point out that FotoPress is the new version of a pre-release plugin called Canva Kala. The only major difference in this version of FotoPress from Canva Kala is that it has the Usign integration. Unless you really need the Usign integration, I would probably say that you might not need FotoPress if you already have Canva Kala. However, if you don't already have Canva Kala or if you need the Usign integration, FotoPress is going to be a time-saving, solid tool that you might want to consider investing in.